E for marketwizards.com and eminywizard.com. On the 5th of April, 2019, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. A very tedious type of trading, but good time for us to review a couple of ideas, especially if you have, you're fairly new to our room and trying to understand some of our terminology. One of Zeke's favorite sayings he just put in our system there in the chat room. It's like a one-legged stool with termites. Meaning that, this has been a house of cards that just keeps ratcheting up until it stops. And those traders who fight it, obviously keep donating to the boys' retirement fund. And I try to use very specific criteria, not just platitudes, the trend is your friend, but very specific, actionable ideas. And even if you don't take them, and even if you don't understand it yet, go back and review them and understand how this stuff comes together. I think it's important that you do that. This was our initial target range this morning. We had said, remember, 92s, 91.5, 92s. If you got to the 93, paid for sure. And then the 93.75. Once we start to get above here, then we're looking at the 95s to 98s. 98.25 is, target of mine today. Whether we get it or not, who knows? It's not important other than knowing where you're trying to get to and where profits may get taken. 95.5, we said right now, was our first primary new target. But I want you to use sequence trading, and that's something that we need to talk about. Sequence trading is understanding where these targets come from and how I try to put the relationships together. and we never know when we're going to get those targets that we want. But we do know directionality. Once I say, yesterday I said this was a breakout. I think this is a third time through trade right here at 78.5. And you can see how it sits here, and then it comes up and it comes up. We've never come back under that. So this is how I try to understand the leverage points and where we can, squeeze higher, which is basically what they do. I call this the the Panama Canal Trade, because they put these locks in here. They put these little floaters and then ratchet it up. And they've done that ad infinitum this week. So is it unfair? Probably. But you know what? If you're a trader, you want to make sure that you're going with which way the big boys and the bots are pushing. Your first thought today, if it was short 92 and try to get back down here and close the gap, you were partially right, but we said, let's think about that middle. Let's think of half gap, 86.5 as support. This is where you try, if you believe in the upside, that's where you try to align with the trend, and then you get lucky on the breakout. Another couple of ticks for target one today was at 95.5. So this is a RTH from yesterday and today, and this is the point that I'm showing you where the squeeze is maintained by taking yesterday's high, getting it above it, and then saying, no, you don't. We got you, and we're going to squeeze you right back up here. 2 more ticks. Don't know if we'll get it or not, but that's immaterial. Trying to show the idea of buying the pullback and aligning with the trend, buy support in an uptrend until proven wrong. Say the prior 88 to 89 area is going to be an important idea today. If we can get above it and stay above it, then we can ratchet higher. So that to be consistent with what I'd said earlier, yes, that 95.75 to 98 is what I had put earlier as the next potentials above 93. And showing up is 96. Yeah, it should be the first primary target up here. You know, you get to that point where you want that extra point or half a point and you give back 2 or 2.5 or whatever. So this is tough trading when we get to whack-a-mole. But my guess is we will hit that 96 to 97 before the day's over. May have to suffer through backing and filling a bit, but I've got R2 today up here as well. This is a 10-minute chart. You can see how this held. If you want to look at your 15, there's your 15, which I think is probably a pretty good chart. Said that earlier today. Let's keep an eye on 15. And I think it probably is going to be, you know, a type of whack-a-mole move back and forth to try to get these higher targets. So once you understand the relationship here with your 15s, then you can go back to a shorter duration and say, okay, so that's my support. I get it. And then bring it back to a 5 or whatever you want. You can see the rotations perhaps a little bit more clearly. So whenever the 5 is backed up by the 15, it's a pretty good chart on the globex. And don't worry about 1 point. Don't worry about 1 tick. Worry about the process. Or take a look at your trades. What was your process? What was your thinking today? Was your thinking that go with the trend? Or was it, I want to catch the top? This bounce has been a bounce that all of the traders in the shorts have come to love, to hate. Wow, be a lover of the market, not a fighter. Day after day, we call these targets out, tell you what we think is the direction, what we think is the squeeze pivot. It should become obvious to you. And again, we don't have all the answers. We don't profess to have the crystal ball. Nobody does. But the tools that we are sharing with you should help you to become a better trader. And it takes time to do that. Ups up. Don't give back 3 points to make 1 more. You can always re-enter, and if you miss a trade, so what? It's not the end of the game. IB is about 15 minutes left in the IB.